Maybe I'll make a camera too. Maybe I'll make them the same object. Because there will need to be a camera for the if we're doing the zoom in on kill thing, right?
That makes sense, having them
The
on
zoom
the
in
camera.
on killed doesn't need to be in the prototype though. I was also thinking that like, what if this? I think this is it would be a neat idea. What if the gems weren't actually represented as gems, but as like a thing that you did, like a computer terminal that you have to like.
What is the gem? What is the gem thing?
How you like get whatever resource to spend your abilities.
It's just an incentive to move.
Yeah, we need to incentive, so that people aren't just hiding all the time. The other thing I thought of for that is that
abilities, and I don't remember talking about this. There's abilities and gems.
Dave talked about it the first time he told us about the project. It's there are gems that you will go out and collect.
I mean, it doesn't even have to be this way, but you knew that it was going to be character based, like Smash Brothers.
Yeah, I mean, we never. I think when we talked about it too, we said, well, yeah, it's something to get them moving. It doesn't have to finalize as gems, but there needs to be an incentive to go around the map and do stuff.
I'm saying gems, but all I mean is something that gives you a bonus, something that you want to go after.
Yeah.
But I thought it would be cool if they were represented by like tasks, like you got the.
It could be things like usable items that like help you find other players, maybe.
I don't want it to be items, just because I don't know.
I mean, it's the same.
I don't know why I didn't want it to be like a power up, but like, yeah, but you couldn't like. It's not like every character could do every item.
Okay, well, let's start with this. How do you see them moving into the background? Are they literally just pressing up on the stick, or is there a button for that?
Gameplay or just input wise?
Input wise, yes.
I don't know. I hadn't thought about it really. Probably doesn't matter too much because again, the like movement isn't.
I mean, I think that matters.
Isn't what the game is about. Yeah, but you're not going to be like. I
mean, it's. I know what you mean, but in another way. Go ahead.
The only thing I've thought about in that is that I think it. Basically, I just figured I didn't think about the input method, but like your character would like just take a step towards the background and be in the background, or take a step towards the foreground and be back out. That's how it would.
Do you think you can
be represented on screen?
Do you think you can step into the foreground from the background?
Can you kill a guy
if there's a object in your way?
I think we should prototype it that way just for ease, but
yeah.
I don't know.
See what it looks like.
Can you kill a guy in the background if you're in the foreground, or do you have to be in the background with him? Are they two different layers, or is it like?
I think you could kill him in the background.
Yeah, I think you should be able to kill him in the background. We don't want to make it overcomplicate the kill. Like, you don't want to have to be able to hit like, oh, I didn't hit the kill and back button.
Yeah.
You know.
The other thing I was thinking when we do, because we are kind of approaching actual playtesting, is that we shouldn't like jump to conclusions and be like, oh, this can definitely not be in the game. This is like, we should make try not to like make big sweeping changes, just out of gut reaction.
I mean, as soon as I think yes, we should try to playtest as soon as possible, and we should try and like the main thing is like they say, find the fun early, like you just play it.
I think the big thing right now is that we need to find how hiding behind things is actually going to work, because like the blending in is kind of obvious, like it's easy enough.
Yeah, it seems to work. It'll work pretty well.
What do you mean the blending in is easy enough? I don't know.
Like blending in with people like is easy enough to hide that way. It's just like that's a proven that's.
I mean, if they're all like I said, if they're like rainbows like this, or if they're all different color, or if they're all the same sprite, yes. But I think it could become slightly, and I think it,
It depends on how many sprites we have, but I don't.
My
I
guess
still
would
think
be that it's going to be easier. It's going to be we're going to need to make it easier to see people rather than harder.
Yeah, I agree.
In the crowds. Well, we could just make.
I think that'll
crowds.
be the incentivizing people to do things. What do you say, Dave?
We could just make smaller or bigger crowds to balance those sorts of things. Like that's the obvious first step to try to.
Yeah, that stuff can be
balance
balanced pretty easily.
But I just need to do the crawl, which shouldn't be that many frames of animation. An attack, and maybe a stepping into the foreground and background. But that could look janky. And
Here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say though, and is why I'm asking about the movement is like I think this game Hidden in Plain Sight is a neat, gimmicky, fun game. We played it a couple times, you know, way back. But like that game is like you know, it's not the feeling of playing it. The tactile feeling of being the guy is just like. You know, like there's no. It's more like a nervous, stressful, like did I fuck up kind of thing, and I imagine the same thing with Spy Party. But I think there's a version of this game at least where moving does feel good, and you feel sneaky. I don't feel sneaky.
Also a slide dash to like cross gaps. Might feel nice.
That's balancing. That is like is going to be a tougher thing
and under things, and also a quick movement.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing with that, I agree with you, but the only thing is that to keep in mind is that like we don't want to turn it into an action fighting game, right?
No.
That's the balancing act.
The balancing act is like you should be able to move like that in short bursts, and you should almost want to and be resisting that urge. Like you're like, oh, I see where this dude is. I want to fucking slide under and jump over and do this real quick or whatever. Well, I guess it really depends on how we're doing the hitboxes and everything.
I think that stuff will reveal itself with play test. Like the way that is going to wind up working will definitely become more obvious with us playing against each other and finding out where the weaknesses are. But I think it's perfectly fine to create, if you want to add in some decent movement options, add them in and we'll try them out. There's no reason not to. It takes no time at all.
A lot of movement feeling good. This is why I was asking.
A slide dash in, Chris. I would definitely be okay with that.
Make me an animation for this. Is why I asked about
the prototype.
This is why I asked about the you know, the running and stuff. Make me some animations for that stuff because a lot of movement, feeling good is it looking like it feels like how it feels.
I'm not gonna do the sprint for the prototype, but I would do a slide dash because that's easier for the first prototype for the playtesting.
I mean the sprint's so easy though. It's just hold a button, make guy faster.
I mean animating.
Okay, I gotcha. Okay.
The sprint is much harder than a slide dash because I could just like make the one frame of a slide dash and the computer will move you. I'm excited though because we've never gotten to this part of like playtesting. And
remember back in when we were still talking about how to, you know, what to do for Kip in the beginning? I was like, we should do a multiplayer game with, you know, at the time it wasn't. I don't think it was like a fighting each other thing, and everyone was like, "Oh, that's gonna be so hard. Let's just do a card game." And on the surface, that sounds totally reasonable. Yeah,
easy.
I
was trying to err on the side of safety.
Yeah, it is totally reasonable, but it's just.
But yeah, that just one of those became apparent that you were right about that.
It just turns out that systems-based things.
System-based things are a lot harder than you would think they are.
I think systems-based things would require us to sit down and actually write things down and plan things out instead of just jumping into them. Like we tend to do. Like I think it would require genuine planning. Like if you to make it work in a way that is not going to have to be redesigned in a week, kind of thing.
I can't imagine doing a game with like you know, complex leveling and stats like the Pokemon game thing without some sort of AI assisted tool to do it for me. Like, remember RPG Maker used to have a thing where
those graphs.
Yeah, it would generate a normalized graph for like your power differential relative to things.
I mean, I can generate. You know, we know enough to do basic
We could
graphs.
do it. We could do it.
Basically defining how whether they're a strong late game carry or an early game carry.
Yes, that is exactly.
We know enough about math to do that kind of thing.
We do,
like,
but
not
like
that complicated.
It sounds like a pain.
Like, it's not even predictive. It's just plugging in a formula. It's not even like we're doing regression. We're just doing purely a plot over a level cap, because we will define the level cap. But yeah, I think system-wise it'll be hard to design. It's just a long-term project for sure.
There's
But I'm happy to learn it. I did a lot of research beforehand. It wasn't just to see what other tactical systems did. And the one thing I found out is that there is no standard at all. Like, everything is literally, there is no standard. Everything's different. Like, people that have gone in and looked at other games and torn them apart to see how they tick, there's just no consistent standard, which is actually encouraging.
There's no standard, but also there are like
best practices.
Not best. There's like
there aren't even best practices. Is kind of what they're saying. They're just like
I wouldn't say there's best practices, but there are like
there's best practices in terms of regular programming. Like,
did you ever see that extra credits episode of the graphing the power curve for Hearthstone? And there's like a formula in there that basically says, let's find that. That's such a good episode. What happened?
I watched extra credits.
You won't have to know the rules of Hearthstone to follow this episode. Although, if you do want to do a quick brush up on the rules before watching, it won't take you very long. If you do like collectible card design, you'll probably dig
Also,
this.
Hearthstone's a really
we
simple
all have to be clear
example
on before
compared
moving
to
forward
like
is
complex
power curve.
RPGs, but it
The
still
power curve
has.
of a card game refers to the curve created by plotting the power and cost of each card on a graph.
Like
While there will be some
any
variation,
system, any
all
numbered
of the game's
systems-based
cards
RPG
should
will have
basically
something
fall
like
along
this.
that curve. If a card spikes too high over that curve,
power
it risks
curve.
breaking your game. If it spikes too low, it risks being too weak to be worth any player's time. Make sense? Okay, here we go. In the recent expansion to Hearthstone, Blizzard released two particular cards that have frequently been cited as examples of blatant power creep: Evil Heckler and Ice Rager. This is because Evil Heckler is a strictly better version of a previously existing card called Booty Bay Bodyguard. Notice how Evil Heckler has the same stats as Booty Bay Bodyguard, but costs one less mana to play. It is an objectively better card in any scenario. And look at Ice Rager. It is a strictly better version of an existing card called Magma Rager. See how it has one additional hit point? There is no reason to ever choose Magma Rager over Ice Rager when building a deck. Now, it's easy to see why one might look at this and, at first glance, mistake it for a textbook case of power creep. But it's actually not at all. Why not? Because Magma Rager and Booty Bay Bodyguard were actually themselves so far below the power curve that they were already completely unplayable. All the designers did here was take cards that are unplayable in any format and made new versions of those cards that might, in some scenario, at some time, possibly have a chance of seeing play. So while these new cards are indeed more powerful than the existing ones, both of the new cards still fall below the game's overall power curve. It's only power creep when a card or a piece of gear spikes above the game's power curve. And because for most decks there are already better cards in the 3 to 4 mana range, these new cards don't actually push the power level of the set, or force players to go buy them to stay competitive. They're not competitive right now, and nothing about them suggests that any cards made in the future are going to synergize with them in a way that makes them substantially stronger than other cards that already exist. So yes, they are clearly better than certain other cards that already existed, but they in no way impact the overall power level of the game. So these sorts of correction cards aren't what we're looking for when we're hunting for power creep. Instead, we're looking for things that are so far above the curve that all future cards of that mana cost must be compared against that card. One such card in the previous set was Piloted Shredder. Ever since its release, players looking to put any 4-cost minion in their deck have had to ask themselves, is this card somehow better for my deck than Piloted Shredder, to justify putting it in? This means that any future 4-cost minions worth playing are going to have to be better than Shredder to see play. And Piloted Shredder was itself already better than all the previous 4-cost minions. This is the definition of power creep. Now, of course, there are cases where some specific combination of cards makes another 4-cost minion better for a specific deck than Piloted Shredder, but even in those cases, that question is always how the player makes that call. They simply ask themselves, would I rather have a Piloted Shredder in here? And you can see the immediate impact it had on the next Hearthstone expansion too. Notice how there are a lot more 3 strength, 5 health minions in the next set, specifically because those minions can kill the Shredder without dying to it, allowing them to stay on the board and have a chance at also destroying the minion the Shredder will spawn when it dies. Which shows you just how much that accidental power creep impacted the entire set, and how the folks at Blizzard had to try to use the tools they had available to haul the Shredder's power back into line with this new expansion. And here's where the mechanics of power creep come into play. If Blizzard can't haul the power of that card back down by releasing a bunch of cards specifically designed to counter it, then in the future, their only option is to release cards on par with or better than the Shredder in that 4-mana slot, at least if they want those cards to ever have a chance of seeing play. But because the power of the Piloted Shredder is already so high, if they release cards superior to it for the 4-mana slot, those cards will likely be as powerful as existing cards in the 5-mana slot, which means that Blizzard's gonna have to make more powerful 5-mana cards.
Alright, let's see what this game looks like currently. Where am I? Who am I?
You're stuck up top.
Am I stuck?
Yeah, because I didn't adjust the sprite actual hitbox.
Is anyone currently working on anything? Can I add all those sprites?
You adding into that
objects?
folder should never matter, really.
No, I mean as objects. To
No, even then, it's an object is its own file.
Yeah, making a brand new object should be totally fine.
what if I also add them to the room to like make the level look?
As long as
That
none of us.
would affect it, but as long as you don't edit it, like you can.
I'll just make a new
that
room.
should be
What if
fine.
I just make a new room?
No, it should still be fine, honestly.
I have to pull, right? Give me a pull.
Yeah, you'll have to pull my version.
Pull. Okay, done. Alright. Let's get with this busy work. Do I have to like make things or parents still a thing and
Yeah, parents are still a thing.
Like,
Actually,
make
we're
the
gonna
floor
want to
objects
use
or the-
parents for quite a
but
few.
to make new floor types, could I just make them a parent of whatever floor?
So it's all tile collision now, so that's not done with objects anymore.
How do I?
I mean, you can, but it's much better to do it with tiles.
So where would I add that?
So you would
How would
make
I
a
add my
layer.
sprite as that.
How would you do what now?
How would I add the floor sprite? I just want the floor sprites that I made.
So
be
what
in, how-
I would
how I
actually
pull them.
suggest for that is, I guess you could make them.
Making a tile map.
I would make them a tile map, but you could make them objects and just have them have no code. If you wanted to do it the way you know how
Probably
to do
best
it.
to do it as a tile map.
It is better to do it as a tile map for
more
sure.
efficient.
Well, I'm happy to do it. I just don't know how.
Yeah.
So the
There's something weird I remember with it, and I can't remember how. I remember that being a pain in the ass, so I don't remember what.
show me your
about it.
screen real quick. Hold on. Hold on 1 second, and then. Yeah, show me your screen.
Streaming. So it started at 16 by 16,
Yeah.
and there I could see all these. I don't know if the resolution is high enough for you to see. the
Yeah.
white-
Zoom in a little bit if you can, or double click on the green part of the window, and it'll zoom in. Like the the title of the box where the name of the software would be.
Double
If this
it's not zooming in. Double clicking the shit out of it.
I can't see your cursor. You're double clicking the
Like see how I'm moving it up and down.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm double clicking that and it's not
Really?
doing it.
There's something weird about the tile thing in there. I don't remember how to fix it, but I remember there's something weird about
I
it.
guess you I guess you can't do that with certain types of windows. Okay.
Well, I can zoom in on the thing. Look,
Yeah,
see how
that's
these squares?
yeah.
So if I change it to 32 by 32, it just goes away completely. Like, where are the tiles now?
So get what is the size of the sprite you're working with?
69 by 26, it says.
So
It might be something where it has to match perfectly with
yes.
the grid size.
yeah.
Can I just make it 69 by 26?
So you need to make it something that's divisible by 32 or 64.
So does this work? Is this?
Yes, this should work.
Am I gonna have to place each of these individual?
This actually works really good. Look how
things?
evenly divided it is between the upper part and the lower part, and like I imagine the upper part as being the walking into the background part, right?
Yeah, the darker part.
So this works fine. This is good.
Well, am I gonna have to like place these all individually?
You're gonna have to
each
paint them on there, yeah. Unless you can
You
make.
can-
square by
pick
square?
multiple
This
squares at a
sucks.
time.
Why did they make it this way?
You can pick multiple squares at a time.
So I
Yeah.
can highlight like all.
You can make a
the
brush, you can
9
make-
of these.
Yeah, yeah.
You can make a
you'll
brush.
Make a brush. Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, if you ever want to make anything
Can I
work,
move these so that it lines up a touch better? Like,
you can offset
Yeah,
the axis of
if the tile, can I get the tile
So you set the
down a little bit?
What do you mean the?
Like the tile squares. See how it's not lined up on the very top? Wouldn't it be better if it was?
So you can't change anything about the grid in the tile set. You can change the grid in the room, or you can change the sprite. You can move it around in the sprite until it lines up how you want it to.
The collision on this.
There's
they
no
won't be
collision on
floating
this.
above it, will they? Yeah. Well, no, there is, right? There has to be.
No, the collision
This
is
what
going to
they're
be
standing on.
the collision is actually going to be on the the collision mask underneath. This is a mask that goes over top of the.
That's
collision.
what I'm asking is, are the white squares going to be where it collides, or the actual drawing? You see how so imagine a player on this this tile set properties box, right? A player, and he's standing right
Yeah.
above the boxes, and he's gonna fall. Is he going to stop at the grid, or is he going to stop at the sidewalk with the way it is now?
Like I said, that depends on where you put it in relation to the underlying thing. It will always, it's since it's divisible by 32, the way we have it right now, each of those boxes will be where it lines up in relation to the
The
underlying.
collision is on the white boxes or the actual drawing.
You're saying if this was the actual thing it was colliding with, it would be on the white line.
Grid?
Yes.
Okay, so that's terrible. This does not work then, so I have to fix it. They'll be floating, right?
No, you're painting something over top of a skeleton. It doesn't matter what. There's no collision on what you're doing.
Then how do they know when to stop and don't just fall forever?
The way they do now, like on that red, on the red stuff that's there now. Only we can't see the red stuff.
There is no red stuff. I don't see a
in the actual room. They, like, run the game, or like go into the room. Maybe it'll just be easier.
Okay, so okay. Is there any way to stop this from happening? It's deleting other parts.
Oh, you want to like lay them on top of one another?
I want to lay them side by side from each other.
Then they have to line up as perfect tiles. You have to make them as a tile set.
Fuck this. Ugh. Let's just make them objects. So much easier.
It causes a lot of problems. It is better to do it as a tile set.
This blows. So what do I do to make this work?
So what is so you want to be able to place them over top of each other? Like a layering over top of each other, or you want them to line up super perfectly? I
want them to line up, yeah. This would look ridiculous. Or this. This looks stupid. Like,
I don't think it looks too bad, but
wait, they're just random sidewalk pieces that they just skipped parts of.
So the way I would do it is there's several ways you could do it, right? You could, you know what? Just make it. I'll put it in, and you tell me what like you don't like about it, and then I'll figure out and do that. You just make all this stuff, and I'll do it.
I just want it to not like delete over.
Then you have to make
this little piece is. Oh no! I know what I could do.
Are you gonna make another layer?
I just need to make a bigger. This might work. I don't know. Actually, no, it won't. I'm just gonna make an enormous tile that just goes all the way across.
So what you could do, there's two things you could do, right? One, you could make a brush of only the middle parts where the ends aren't, and have that be the whole middle of the sidewalk. You know what I mean? And then just have the edges be a special thing you lay over top of them on another layer. You could adjust the actual tile set.
I would just have to make a layer for each fucking thing that I place.
The easier answer is to make it as a tile set. Draw it as a tile set. So draw like where the next, draw it as something that loops.
It does loop. If it didn't cover over, it would loop perfectly.
Well, make it loop. You have to make it loop and fit perfectly in the.
See, look.
Or here's what you could also do. You could change so you could figure out the length of it.
I have a version that loops of a sprite. I mean, you've seen it in the actual Photoshop drawing that I have. It fits together perfectly.
So then you need to not have those blank spots at the edges and fill in the loop stuff that's missing. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I was saying I was going to do, make a big one.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, make it make it an actual tile set.
How do I get the layers back, Chris?
Get the layers back?
On the left, they're gone. In the room editor.
Hold on.
On the top, I forget. I think
how did you even close it? Like, how did you close it?
I don't fucking know. If I knew that, I'd probably
do maybe reset
layout. I have a better idea how to fix it. Tools.
Yeah, try. Just go to reset layout. Oh, that should do it.
Reset layout. That should do it.
And now open the room again.
Yeah, try opening the room, I guess.
Alright,
yeah.
Room editor. So where's that?
That's what is on the left.
I know, but where
my guess would be
in the menus would it be?
Oh, I don't know. I have.
That doesn't look like it is. I don't know. It was weird. It must be somewhere. I just don't know. I've never closed it either. But I know from closing something.
Here, layer view. Was this always there, or only when we opened the view?
I don't know. I don't have that on mine, so.
Whatever.
God, I've worked with fucking this software for an hour, and I already fucking hate it.
What were you using to test this that you probably have commented out somewhere, Marcus, where you're removing the, NPCs up and down?
What do you mean moving them up and down?
Remember when we were testing to see if the Y thing...
Oh, they still are placed up and down. It's just that when they're created, there used to be a width that gave them a Y value or set their depth. I did it there. So just go to the script create NPCs or something like that.
But like, there's a okay, sorry, repeat that before I go off on another tangent. Where is it?
Script create NPCs or something like that.
Okay.
Sounds like we could just go ow.
And so you're putting something in there that
Walking on hot coals.
will make them move down or up randomly or down forever.
When I create them, I think I create them with a random up and down buffer. That should also be in there. Or yeah, with a random range on their Y.
With a random range. Okay, so I want to change this to like 50, negative 50 and 50 or something. Or no, this will only do it when I'm talking about like when they're walking around. I need them to like float.
They don't change their Y when they're walking.
But I need them to test something, and you had that in before. Did you erase that entirely?
No, I didn't have that in.
Do you,
when you mean when I
when we were testing to see if
I see what you're saying. I did have that. Yeah, when they're just literally flying down the street.
Yeah. Where is that in there somewhere that I could just
Oh, probably not. But just go to the behavior interpretation and add it into one of those behaviors, and you'll get one. I would move them up rather than down since they're being created on the bottom layer.
On walk, so I just put them in one of the walk things, I guess.
Yeah, so walk left, walk right. On the interpretation one, you should be able to just redefine, add in a y.
So I would do NPC
dot y plus equals y, whatever, or minus equals whatever it is.
All right. So people moving to the left now should randomly jitter up and down like crazy because I just put a random number in there. Yep, there they go. They're so far being drawn correctly. I have to fucking do something about this camera though. I can't see a goddamn thing. Because it's big, but it's not full screen.
Should you in this game, when you go in the background, I think the answer to this is going to be yes, but should you go... You should also be behind like paintings on the wall and stuff. Even though that makes no sense, but that's how it should.
I don't like that. Paintings on the wall, like couches and shit, whatever. But like paintings, that would look bizarre. Just make it something that aesthetically makes sense, like a statue or a bust or something like that.
Why? Why do you not like it?
Just because diegetically it'll look broken. It won't look.
I think people would say, "Oh, yeah, this is the thing the game does," so it makes sense that they do that they go that far, because it's the game's thing,
Like I'm 100% on board usually with the mechanics overrides aesthetics and diegetic, but like. There comes a point when I think things will look broken. I'm willing to be overruled on that though. Like I'm open to being overruled if other people disagree, and I'm willing to look at it and see how it looks. But my feeling is that will just look not right. And like why have it be a painting, right? Like there's a million other things that could be.
I mean, there needs to be gameplay wise. It would benefit us to have things that float in the air that you go behind.
Sure, I'm down with that, but like a painting, like make it like a.
So what besides a painting would it be?
A lamp hanging from the ceiling, or like a plant, like a diorama of planets or something like that. Like something that. Or there are things that are
tapestry.
Yeah, like a curtain.
Tapestry would be better suited for it.
A curtain, yes, a curtain, or like a.
I mean, I have curtains, but like at a certain point, we're gonna run out of lamps or hanging.
Tapestry. Welcome to the Tapestry Museum.
We're gonna run out of chandeliers,
Welcome to the Tapestry Museum.
All right, I think the Y stuff is
working.
Good. Yeah.
Cool.
At least I think so. You can check my stream and see if there's any.
No, I mean, if we notice it during gameplay, we'll fix it then.
But it appears to be working, yeah. here's the thing with the NPCs, and what Dave's doing right now plays into this too. So like, I think we should decide right now: is this a platformer or a conveyor belt game? Like, can you move up and down at all on the front or back layer, or is it just like you're in the front or you're in the back?
You're in the front or you're in the back.
Okay.
Make it simple.
Okay, I agree too. Although actually it wouldn't be that hard too. Because the only reason I asked, it does look, you know, they're scattered all around and they look kind of crazy, but like it actually looks kind of nice.
I'm just looking at your thing. No, I don't think it's like, oh, you mean like that drastic?
No, not that drastically. Just like a little bit of variation on the red, you know, on the red.
Yeah. I think that's what the NPCs do right now, but yeah, I think that would just complicate things for now. If we tried to make the players have to.
Actually, I could think of a way it wouldn't be too bad. Is basically you would draw, much like you do with the collision mask, you would draw, you would keep the collision all the same, and then you would draw the sprite over top of it at some sort of offset that you could change visually but wouldn't actually change the collision. Alright, that might be all I do for tonight. I wanted to do 2 things, and I did do 2 things. They weren't the 2 things I planned on doing. But also, look, boom, kill, boom, not kill.
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
Kill.
This will be the first time we test a merge when you and Dave merge your copies.
Yeah.
Just to make sure.
All right, I'm excited to show what this looks like with all this.
Yeah, let me see yours. Do you see the kill though? Boom. Yeah.
The kill.
Somebody got killed. Oh shit! And letterboxing on the top and bottom. That's what I should do too. Like, you know.
Okay, I was gonna say I don't see letterboxing, but yeah, that would.
Putting a letterboxing, but like this is just the where the camera would zoom in. Okay. Anyway. Thanks, Goofy King. Goofy King appreciates it.
Let's see what it looks like. It's all crap and garbage is what I've drawn, so.
I mean, in terms of like prototyping, I think this is all we need, right? Like,
yeah, yeah, for sure.
And a way for NPCs to get.
I mean, for the hiding stuff, we still might need more assets to make that workable. It's a good start, though. Yeah. See the giant pile of garbage bags.
Goofy King says, "Your game look cool. Keep up, Mr. Heartlamp." So, you know what you could do, Goofy King, is go tell other people
I need
how
to raise
cool
up
we
the
are
bottom layer so that the
when our game is done.
Amount of the bus is shown. It's not cut off.
Yeah, this shit's coming
Does look
together.
good. The bus.
I like the floating on the bus. That really goes a long way. Yeah.
It's a hover. You can't even see the hover part of the hover bus. Though.
Yeah, it's a little. The bus is big.
The bus
is fucking big, and it needs to be scaled down.
It's as big as the bus should be. I feel like.
But look how like think about when if you were to put the feet in there, if you were to show the feet, like, or maybe everyone just needs to be moved up.
Well, that's what I was saying. That's what I said when I started talking about it. I had to move the bottom layer up a little bit so that it could show everything.
I was messing around the bus. I might even modify more to make it so that it slows down its move speed when it's up at the tip of its thing, and when it's at the bottom of its.
Did you put the hover in there, or is that in the animation?
I put it in there.
This looks
it's
nice.
Code, yeah.
Is that a lerp?
No, just a bounded.
Bounding up and down.
Yeah, just an if statement. Single if. I was able to condense it to a single if. If absolute value y minus the range I want you to be at is, you know, greater than the max range, then you can see my my watchers to see. Because I'm trying to do the slowdown thing, make it slow down when it gets to the top of each thing. Trying to figure out the formula for that. And you can see my my debug code coming in the console there.
Hold on, I'm gonna try to raise this player. Oh, actually, no, it's the. This won't matter, will it? If I raise it up so he drops onto the thing.
No, I did the same thing.
Does it work or does it?
Yeah,
not?
it works.
Okay. I just want to be able to move around.
You're not gonna be behind anything yet, but.
Oh yeah, fuck, that sucks.
Yeah, we'll need to cut.
You can arbitrarily put them behind things by just changing the layer, pulling the layer. You know.
Oh yeah, the player could be in the bottom. Yeah.
Is that how we're gonna handle it? We'll just move the player between layers. Probably the easiest way, right? That must be a function you can do, right? Move which layer the.
Yeah, I mean he's gonna be behind everything, so.
Well, sometimes, right? Other times he'll want to come back onto the.
When he's in that hiding mode, yeah.
Yeah.
When he's in the back layer, you know, towards the back of the room, yes, we will move him onto another layer. That might actually take this. Although I've never actually just transferred a layer. I've always destroyed the instance and put it on another layer. So I don't actually know. I'm sure there's a way to do it though.
Yeah, I hope so. There better be. If they force you to use fucking layers, there better be a way to just move layers without having to destroy the object.
Oh, what's going on?
What is going on?
What's happening?
I'm like stuck in that wall. The
Oh, you moved. You're teleporting. That's weird.
There's so the like I said, the hitbox for this is meant to be aligned at the bottom, like the collision code with the tiles is meant to be aligned at your feet. So if the center of your sprite is not, you know, or no, actually it's meant to be designed in this. It's meant to be in the center, but I changed it in my new game to be at the feet, and it works a lot better. So there's probably some collision shit going on because it might be centered but not at the feet, but it's just like, because the way it actually works is, because it takes forever to check every single part of your hitbox, it just checks the bounding box edges, and then from each of the bounding box edges to the center, to wherever you have it centered. So there are times at which it will something can clip into you and not quite hit that box. But
no, we can fine tune it again.
Yeah,
it's another thing to be fine tuned.
I have it tuned in my other game, but the question is if that won't actually work because I'm using the, you know, for the squat and stretch to work, the center always has to be at the feet. But we're not having squash and stretch in this game, so it doesn't really matter where we put it. So I can change the code if we want to fix it that way too.
Whoa. Alright, close your eyes, I'll hide. And then try to find
where you are.
There you are, yeah.
They're so slow. You can change that move speed if you want. That's just going off of your initialization script, Chris.
Yeah, I know, but then you'll change the speed of all the other people too, and it'll make them look like very busy people.
We can just make a script separate for that. NPC script and a script for the people. I just grabbed whatever to be safe.
All right, let's try to find my guy.
You're not streaming anymore.
I know, I did it so that you wouldn't.
Oh.
I'm not moving.
Cheat.
Yeah.
You're poking out some way?
Yeah, you can. He's visible. He's obscured, obviously.
I know that you can't be on the top row unless you reset the level. Oh, I see.
You start on the top row.
I see him. He's by the plant. He's behind the plant, right?
You're by the plant, yeah.
On the third row.
Yep. Yeah. You should try to design objects that kind of look like people poking out. Just for funsies. Or like we should have a
Like a bust.
translucent
I'm
object.
just gonna draw a mannequin.
We should have a
Mannequin.
translucent. We should figure out a way to make an object so that whatever's behind it shows, but it's always black, and we can send objects past there that look kind of like people.
We could do like a fish tank and like a warped. I could actually do like a shader on like.
There
a
should
fish
be.
tank.
We should really have fun with that kind of thing. That seems like a gold mine.
I did do a shader once where it was like a reverse, like a reflection in water, where it would do like an upside down.
Also, the background will have stuff on it too, so it'll obscure hiding people even more. Like right now, it's just a black background, so it's easy to see a silhouette.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna have to do a sort of a silhouette. We should probably do a overlayer silhouette thing for, just like you should be able to hold down a button and see your guy's silhouette behind things, right? Like
Yeah, you're gonna need to see
you
your
should
own,
get an
sure.
X-ray vision of yourself only.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be necessary.
I'll be back in a moment.
This Loop Hero game is fun, but it's so much of it just relies on fucking luck. It's so frustrating sometimes. You just have to get lucky enough to get the fucking skills that send you to the end.
It's a roguelike.
Yeah.
Alright, looks cool.
Fuck it, I might do the letterboxing right now. Everything's black though, so I'm gonna have to make it white, so it's visible.
Seeing all this stuff with junk in it too makes me even reaffirms my belief that these sprite sizes are going to be fine.
Yeah, this is the biggest I think they can be. Still be fun, but also like if you just made them a little smaller, you could make a really intricate and much bigger scope level, and I do want to do that eventually. Like
Well, levels are we should definitely have lots of levels with different sizes and stuff. Especially for like
But I
this is like a 2-player map. This is like a 4-player map. This is like a.
I do think once it zooms out, you know, the thing with that is if we zoom out but keep the sprite like proportions the same, they might be a little too skinny. Like there's a reason that I know.
No, I don't mean we zoom out. I just mean that we just use less screen real estate or more screen real estate. Like fill everything on screen with stuff, or have negative space with nothing in it. I definitely don't think we zoom in or out.
I think if you
maybe we start thinking about alternate game modes in real.
Yeah, like that's what I'm talking about. Like I think you could make it like if you zoomed out a little bit, you could make this thing into like a truly Hitman style game where like there's different objectives and things like that.
Yeah, this game could grow for sure.
But like I could think of a game mode where like it is more like Spy Party, and there's like 3 spies and 1 sniper looking for everybody.
That sort of is that's a little less novel than this though, because that was a mode in Hidden in Plain Sight, wasn't it?
No.
There was definitely a mode where someone was just a cursor.
Yeah, but everyone has a cursor in that, and it's a race to the end of the screen, and you only get 1 bullet.
No, there's another one. Isn't there? There's one. I know the one you're talking about.
Oh, the assassination one. Yeah.
I was thinking more like that 3D game that I always wanted to make, but 2D. Like you all have a different, sometimes contradictory thing, like a target to kill or an item to steal or whatever. And you trying to simultaneously blend in and get your mission done. Should we try merging the versions? Because I'm a little... My main worry...
Who should go? Would it matter who does it first? Like, can we save ourselves some pain if...
Theoretically, it shouldn't matter. It should find that you guys both haven't worked, as long as you haven't touched the same
so
thing.
The room is the only thing that will have shared changes.
Then you'll just have to pick one to go in.
That's
I'll
fine.
duplicate this room.
And what it will do is it should pick the last.
No. You can
move.
keep your The only thing that's different in mine is that it doesn't have all the things that yours, and it does have the camera. So all it needs to do is pull the camera in, and the camera actually I don't even know.
Go ahead and duplicate the room just to be safe.
I'm gonna duplicate, yeah, just
to be safe. But I believe you get the option to pick.
Room server, is that what it is?
I should get the option to not push the room changes to the server.
Yeah,
right?
something like that. Whoever is doing it, you get the option to pick which ones are legitimate.
Like my instinct is to do a save as right now, even though I know. But,
no save as.
But like
that's the whole point. Forget.
And
Never
also,
save as
like
again.
the thing is, Game Maker does have fucking issues with the crashes and fatal things that like forever fuck up shit. Where like shit.
But that's the point. Git is like even extra protection against that, because if you think you.
Yeah, but if I do
a
a bunch, if that happened right now before I pushed, I would have to redo all this work still.
Yeah, well, you could commit to your local thing without having to worry about pushing it. Like if you're worried about that kind of thing, just commit locally.
How do I do that?
Just go to what your changes are right now at Git and commit. That doesn't do anything to the server. That just commits to your local.
So
Git.
Commit to main will just do local.
Yep.
Alright,
so
that's the way. Yeah, I do that pretty regularly. Once I've done something significant, I go commit.
Okay, that makes me feel a lot better.
Yeah, it's great.
Alright, so if I commit this to main, do I not want to commit the things that I won't want to push to Dave? You
would want to reject those, but you should still get the opportunity to, if there are conflicts, you should still get the chance to reject them then, to resolve the conflicts manually. But if you want to make it easier on yourself, just reject them now.
Should I commit right now or no? Aaron, do push it, or what do I do? Just tell me what. I made a backup of my room, so I'm just gonna do it.
So do I discard changes, Marcus, or do I just uncheck it? Do I discard or do I uncheck?
Committed.
Right check, you can uncheck if you want, or you can right-click discard. Both should do the same thing. But essentially, when you do that, what Git does is it just pulls back the old version of that file.
So I committed to my main.
Disgusting. Why are you not in a dark theme?
I don't know, because I downloaded this a day ago and haven't used it.
You love dark theme.
It's because it's trying to make you push. Go to repository, maybe. We should probably organize though, put like things that are non-interactable on a layer, and
yeah,
just to make them easier, so that you don't have to click around figuring out which layer they are on if you want to move them or delete them.
Well, assets and objects are different than the layers right now, so.
All right.
So how's your camera work?
It doesn't do anything right now except for this.
Ooh. Alright, cool. Everything works. Git is the best, isn't it?
This is nice. Very nice. And then, oh yeah, and it still got my changes for these guys. I guess they're jittering up and down for my test.
Yeah, you can just before you push.
I already did push, remember?
At some point before you're done for the night, update that again and push it back so I don't have to find it and push it.
It's just in the walk left behavior.
Okay.
So.
Just change it back now. At some point you're gonna push, and then I'll.
All right, let's go over what we need, bare minimum, for the prototype playtests. And what we've done and what we've.
What have you done?
NPC AI, Marcus has got that handled. We need elevators and stairwell doors. Ways to get up and down between the floors.
Stairwell doors should be super easy. I could even do some of that. Oh no, let Chris do the stairwell doors. I might do the elevators.
The
So
Just
actually,
want
I would say let
for the
let me do
playtest.
the elevators because that's gonna
Oh yeah, you're right. It's gonna require player movement too, not just.
it's gonna require me to have
We'll both
collision
have to
on.
work on the elevators at some point because I'm gonna have to handle the NPCs for the elevator too. But as long as you have an elevator speed, I can pull off of. That'll be fine. That I can grab that value from. I should be able to.
I mean, with the NPCs, it should be relatively easy, right? Once they're in the elevator state, they just keep their Y position
with the
in
elevator
relative
to what it was. Yeah.
Okay, so we need player movement, which I'm gonna say entails an attack, a screen or a layer transition, like stepping into the background. Layer transition, and a lot of this I'll need to animate still. Crawling and ducking or crouching. And if we don't need prone yet, I think we're good with just crawling for now. So player movement.
What's the difference between crawling and prone?
Like you get down on your belly to like get past like.
So you want
low
3
thing
stages of...
Well, I'm just saying potentially, and right now prone is not
or
an
4, I
issue
guess.
right now, but I think-
Standing, prone, crawling, or standing...
Well, crouching and crawling would be the same. Crouching would just be the idle of crawling.
Okay, gotcha.
But prone we don't need in for the playtest, I don't think. And then, elevators and stairs to go up and down. Elevators. Stairs. So that's the second thing. And that's it, I think. We only need those 2 things to make it playable. Unless you guys could think of anything else that...
You put killing?
Attack,
Murder?
the attack, yeah. That's part of... I'm putting that in, like, player movements. So player movements, it would be attack, layer transition, meaning, like, stepping into the background and back into the foreground. And then crawling and crouching. And a lot of this I still need to animate.
I wonder what
the
this actually
elevators
would
and
look
stairs.
like
So once
with
we can go up and down easily between the floors.
This game fucking sucks. Fucking just give me the goddamn items I need. Hate like shit like this.
We're getting really close to having a playtestable thing.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Like really close. We've never been this close. In a group project.
Here, let me see. I just wonder, what would this look like with a little bit of that pixelation on it?
Oh yes, I do want to
Let's see what that looks like.
see what that looks like. Although
I don't think you'll like it because your things are so
I
detailed.
did put a lot of work into the actual sprites, so
Well, you could set the degree to which it does it. Like I have it on a pretty intensely high degree in my other game.
I'm definitely curious to see what it looks like. Though.
But it like it's almost like, well, let's see. Firstly, let's start with just half the amount of pixels that we have right now. That might not even be noticeable, but we'll see. One moment. Put this on my stream. Okay. Yeah, it's not. Okay, so actually it's dry. It needs to be set to the correct resolution first, because it is not currently. So it's 1920 by 1080. 1080. it can make things look pretty terrible at times. Like, I feel like it's something you almost have to design your sprites with it. Why is that? Did I do it backwards?
Backwards, yeah.
Oh, I forgot. Nope, I forgot the knife.
Also, the screen, the aspect ratio is looks weird. It looks 4:3, still like a square. Oh, there we go.
What did you do?
I put a little bit of pixelation on it where it like locks the So
notice the difference really.
There's none yet. It may not. It has to get to a certain size before you. So let's try 1/3.
Go big first and then dial it down.
All right. So let's try. Let's go with 10. 1/10 of the amount of pixels on the screen.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Does look kind of neat, but definitely wouldn't want to play this game.
So, and then we can do
half that then.
Yeah, let's try.
I have a feeling I won't want to use it at all, but it's neat.
That is neat effects. How are you doing that?
You resize it's just surface resize, application surface, and then whatever your resolution is divided by however fewer pixels you want to be used to draw everything. So that's half. Still too much, I'd say. Although this does look kind of neat.
Starting to get kind of discernible at least.
I mean, you can do something like a separate window. This is how you could do like a behind the window thing, right?
Yeah, you could do this is how you can
like just make make the window an actual view for it, right?
Although probably
yeah, you could do that.
It would probably be much easier to do it
through a shader.
Through shaders, yeah.
You could just do it as like a nice effect of when you're the guy getting killed, it like blurs out, you know?
Do 2.
We started with 2, so we'll want to do 4, I would say. There's like a perfect.
I don't think it's gonna work for this game, but or for my art style that I've done. But I do really like this.
That's 4. And we'll try 3. 3 is the only.
2 was the one that you couldn't even really tell.
2 you could not hardly tell. So you can do, and you can do it, and I could do like 3.5 or like whatever. Like it does work like that. This looks okay.
It does look okay. I prefer it.
You don't really get the with the screen in a static place. You don't really get the benefit of like
everything kind of getting that shimmer.
Yeah, everything kind of getting that weird. Like the moving things.
Only things that are moving.
Yeah, all the moving things you do.
Yeah, so maybe that is.
I do like the way it makes the bust look though. But yeah, with high-res sprites, because once a pixel is encompassed, it just seems to pick a random one in there. So like the higher resolution your sprites, the less this really works, because the more it just looks like a wiggly bunch of nonsense, because it just picks one random thing in there.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's resizing it on the fly. That's what gives it that effect. So if things, aren't moving or are too... I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm just talking.
No, you're right. It is it is basically resizing on the fly.
I just don't know why I'm saying this. I'm just saying. I don't really have a point. Oh, slide dash, I think should be in. I think that would be neat. Even more so than a sprint, I'd say.
I feel like you need to have if the sprint is a if you could do it out of if the slide dash you can do out of walking, it's just a dodge roll to me. If you have to be like running to do a slide dash in my mind.
I see the slide dash as a thing like you're like say between the two curtains or something, and you want to dash real quick between two things in a short burst.
I think
And stay low while you do it, and not like have the crouch slow down or the crawling slow down. You know, it's basically a crawling sprint, I guess.
I think I might be done with Loop Hero now because I'm pretty positive that that's what caused that hard crack on my computer.
You know what this works really well on actually is the vending machine. I think this looks real nice on the vending machine, but everything else is kind of too.
I don't think it
detailed.
looks nice overall. Yeah, it looks fine. We're probably getting extra pixelation too because of the stream.
Maybe.
I could look at your actual.
I actually I like the way I do like the way it looks. If I was making it, I would do it, but I don't want to ruin Dave's art.
Oh, you can see the bottom of the bus for a second.
There.
Alright, well, I'm gonna leave.
Make sure you set the camera stuff back, Chris, before you're done.
I never pushed this.
Oh.
So player movement, meaning attack, layer transition, crawling, crouching, slide, and sprint. And then elevators.
2.5.
I've animated a bunch of player movement. I might leave the sprint out because that we could just like speed up the walking animation for testing. Oh, we're so close. Alright, I'm leaving.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to bed. I'll be around tomorrow though.
Hold on. Unable to find an instance. Doing this has broken something. I must be referencing something in Object NPC spawn controller, but it's supposed to create the spawn controller. So why does it have a problem? Yeah, it creates it, but it says it can't find it anymore. I hate GameMaker so much. I specifically put it in the code in the server so that when I reference it, like I want to grab something from the server, or I want the server to know, and I have a list of that's created when that new object gets created and is stored in that. I want the server to have a copy of that list. So I do that after I create the instance, but apparently the instance code doesn't run. Like, the way that fucking GameMaker runs its creation code makes no goddamn fucking sense. I hate it. So the only way to fix it.
I mean, my real solution would be to take this stuff out of the server, but I don't know how that messes with your net code.
Well, that wouldn't matter, right? Because then I still have a creation order that they all need to be created in. So taking it out of the server wouldn't do anything. It just means that, okay, now I need to put the AI object down, or the spawner object down first, and then I need to delete and replace all the other objects that go after it, because GameMaker's stupid. or I need to create all those objects from a from like kind of like I was doing in the server, make it an all a downstream like sequence of events, but that means that I can't literally place the bus stop objects and stuff where I like just place them in the room. I have to figure out their Y and X, which would be a pain in the ass. It's fine. It doesn't matter. As long as we don't mess with that shit now, it'll be fine.
But the whole issue. So then, how are we gonna fix the drawing issue then? If we're
the drawing issue, I just went through the process, made it all work again, and it doesn't fix the drawing issue to have them to move the con server to the same layer.
Okay, I'll figure that stuff out tomorrow.
I think it might be because you're messing with their draw events. Let's what object is handling that? The camera?
Yeah, you can turn that off if you want.
Turn the camera off for a second, and we'll see if that's what does it. Because then the only solution is for you to do that with every object in the game.
No, there's definitely a way to this should work within the this should work how we think it should work. Something else is like that draw method I've used, half a dozen times and had it work exactly as expected. So it's an interplay of these things somehow, and
I mean, now it isn't the camera objects. You're right. It is. Well, something else is happening. None of the NPCs are drawing now.
Well, you turned it off, right?
Oh, yeah, you're right. Duh. But that's not the issue. You're right.
NPC list equals. Hold on. I thought I changed that.
I realize that now that you say that, I realize, oh, that's dumb. That would only mess with the NPCs anyway. It doesn't, explain why the character themselves isn't getting drawn in the right place anyway.
So yeah, this is what breaks when I do it too. The player is breaking it. So why is the player needing to reference this?
Because the player, remember how I put all that code that sends because you already communicate with the clients in a step event in there, I just threw the code that communicates the NPC behavior in that object at the same time.
That communicates the NPC behavior to the players.
Yeah. Okay, now it seems to be working.
What did you do?
I don't know what I did. I'm confused now. I mean, I dragged NPC layer and the player layer to the top. And now they're working like I would expect them to. I don't know what the difference is or how or why, but it seems to be working now. But this does mean like we can never move the server layer or the con server object or if we do, we have to reorder fucking everything again. Because objects are created in the order that they're literally dragged into the room, it seems.
Something like that, but then it seems like moving the layer itself also changes that to some degree. Although they get an instance ID.
I think it has something to do with the instance ID, and we could probably figure out how to override it, but it's not an instance ID that is anything I can figure out. It seems to be from me looking at it, it looks like a random set of numbers. Maybe we could just swap the instance ID or something.
All right, so it's working. I don't need to keep.
It's working. We don't need to do anything. I don't know why it's starting to work all of a sudden, but it's working now. But we'll need to create layers for. I guess if we just had that, regardless of what the issue is, if we just have that thing that forces thing, if we can figure out what can force swapped objects between layers.
I really hope that is a thing. Let's look it up.
Let's see. Yeah, game maker move object between layers.
Looks like it's just object.layer. Although this is old, maybe not. Although this is 2020. Object.layer equals layer get ID, layer name.
Let's try it. Let's put it on the player. We can make that a button, right? And just test that.
That's the other thing. If we need to drag, if we have it just so that nothing needs to be, yeah, you know, that we can't figure out everything, right? We just create an object that runs 5 seconds after the creation code and just sets all the layers for everything based on maybe parentage.
Yeah, we could do something like that. So it's just layer. Layer isn't a read-only, right?
It should be
modifiable.
It should be modifiable. This is saying someone's saying, how do I change things between layer?
Okay.
And somebody says object.layer equals layer get ID, and then the layer name.
Layer.
Here, I'll paste it in Discord.
ID. I think I see it. Layer name. All right. So I need layer get ID, and we're gonna. I'm just to test this. When I hit R, I'm gonna move them to the back. So I'm gonna move them to the objects.
Here, let me see your screen too, if you don't mind.
All right. So here it is. When I hit R, I should then move behind these things. Let's put me by the. Make it dramatic. We'll go by the curtain. Alright, ready? 3, 2, 1, R.
Nice.
Okay,
Okay.
that works.
Okay.
Great. That's so much better. That could probably solve. We probably don't even need to run a fucking. The list thing.
Well, you don't want to be changing layers of that. You want them all in the same layer, right? You don't want them all going on to different layers to get behind.
Yeah, you're right. My idea was we could have multiple NPC layers.
Although you might want to do different layers of stuff that they can walk behind. Like it'd be kind of nice if they could walk behind or in front of these cars, you know?
Yeah, so we should have NPC layers anyway. And then we should tie the Y to the NPC layer.
Oh, and they need to go into the background anyway, so they will need to do that.
Yeah. So we could do that. We could set that up so that we literally tie the Y value to a layer, and then
Hit K.
Well, we'll see what works best. All right.
Hit the K button. Oh.
Oh, sorry. What's the K
No,
button do?
it's the kill. It's the kill thing. I like it. All right. I'm going to bed.
All right. Sounds good.